Welcome to another episode of Dos Nav Cincos. This is episode number 56. As part of That's What I Call Cincos, this week we review Clerks, as well as Street Sharks Season 3, Episode 20. But before we get into it, as always, I am your host, David.
I'm Stuart. Faster.
And I'm Ben.
All right, so let's do Street Sharks. Okay, what do you guys think? Street Sharks.
So did you guys see anything else besides Street Sharks and Clerks, Stu?
Oh, shit. I wanted to speed run and I can't even... I feel like... Fuck.
All right, Ben, back to you.
All right, I watched Tampopo. Have you guys ever watched Chef? It's a Japanese version of it, but it focuses just on ramen. It really does a deep dive into ramen, though. The attention to the broth, the process of creating the noodles, the different toppings, the etiquette when consuming
Sounds great. All right, what about you, Stu?
Does it have... what's his name in it?
Jon Favreau?
Jon Favreau? Does it have Jon Favreau in it?
Yeah, but he's Japanese.
Oh, okay.
And his name is Jon Favreau.
Is he just holding... Is he just have his fingers at his eyes to push his eyes back?
Yeah, he just pulls his eyes.
What made you decide you wanted to watch this one, Ben?
Well, usually every Friday, Bowie, me, and Anthony watch a shitty movie, but Bowie decided to mix it up and actually decided to watch a good movie. So we decided to watch that. And
how come Samtrong 2000 is not invited?
Because fuck Samtrong 200, all right? Fuck him and fuck his little Samtrong ass, all right? Fuck him.
Okay. All right, so you picked it. You picked a good movie. Had you seen it prior to this viewing?
No, I haven't. And holy fuck, I made a terrible decision of not eating beforehand. Holy fuck, I was really
hungry afterwards.
You instantly got ramen after.
I should have, but
wow,
you got ramen the day after, though. I believe, right?
Fucked up. Wait, what's it called?
Tampopo.
TAM. M as in Mancy.
Mancy?
Mancy.
I think I said.
Nancy.
I believe I saw that movie as part of a class I took about cultural anthropology, and it was about food and stuff like that. Do you think that would apply?
Yeah, I would.
Wow.
Yeah.
7/8 of that movie would definitely apply to that. I don't know about the 1/8. The remaining 1/8 of that movie.
David, tell us more about useless classes you took in college.
No, I just actually that was the plan, because I read the synopsis, the description for the class. It's looks at food anthropology, blah blah blah, cultural blah blah, and I was like, oh, that sounds like a class I can BS. And then I didn't realize after signing up for it, it was a 7:00 in the morning class. I went maybe twice the entire quarter. It was horrible.
7:00 in the morning, Jesus Christ!
I know. I was like, dude, who gets up this early for anything?
I thought 8:00 was bad.
Nope, 7 a.m.
Wow, what a sucker!
2 hours. Well, I didn't go. I wasn't the sucker.
Yeah, I think my worst class I had at 8 a.m. was physics, and it was all the way across the other side of the campus. So
I worked up a nice sweat by the time you got there.
Yeah, so every morning I had to leave 45 minutes early to go and get to the lecture hall.
Wait, was that in MSTB or something? Or
it might as well have been. It was.
Jesus.
No, I think it was
the
the lecture hall that was by On the Green or whatever.
Oh, inside the park, kind of.
No, it's on the outer rim of the park, but it was right next. It was kind of close to it. So yeah, that was the worst. I failed that class.
Was it worth it?
I failed the physical test that was getting there every morning.
Yeah, I failed.
Yeah, it wasn't physics. It was physical.
Yeah. It was physics ed. There's a lot of throwing bouncy balls at each other and trying to climb ropes. I'm like, Professor, what does this have to do with physics? And then he hit me with the ball.
See, that's an elastic reaction. It bounced right off your face.
The amount of force equals the mass of the ball times how fast I threw it at your face.
Okay. For those who don't know, Stu and Ben both went to UC Irvine, so if you're wondering what buildings they're talking about, you can look it up. All right.
Yeah. I don't even know which building I'm talking about.
It's fine. It doesn't matter. Nobody's going to really check it outside of Joe. But I don't think Joe's going to care enough to look it up either. So, Stu, what about you? What movie did you see this week besides our movie of the week this week?
I haven't really seen anything. I haven't really watched anything other than just rewatching a bunch of Mystery Science Theater.
Oh, okay. And I believe that was because we saw that 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
So, are you just kind of going through everything that's on their YouTube, or is there something that's specific that you guys are looking for?
No, just going through whatever looks good on YouTube, turn it on, and I mean, it's kind of
Let
like
it
one of those
roll.
things where you have it on the background.
Do you have any that you particularly recommend for someone who's never seen it before?
I could probably compile a greatest hits of what I think are like the greatest hits,
Ooh.
but definitely off the top of my head, Space Mutiny, and just start with that one. Space Mutiny is probably one of the best ones ever.
And
All right.
it'll run you down the rabbit hole for all the other ones, I
Yeah,
think.
and then it'll kind of lead you along.
Nice. All
But
right.
yeah, Space Mutiny. I think that one's actually, if you have Amazon Prime, they have it. It's included as a Prime movie or whatever, so you can watch it on there for free, or you can also watch it on YouTube.
Let's see what else. Oh, I did catch up. I did get a chance to watch Mulan over this past weekend.
Wait, you
I know,
did?
surprise.
Ooh.
Was it as shitty as it was made out to be?
Actually, I think the ratings that it's getting are pretty accurate.
Leave the Chinese part of you aside.
Oh, then 0 out of 10.
Leave it aside.
Oh, sorry. 10 out of 10.
I think something's getting lost in translation here.
Yeah.
Everything's lost in translation. So I know that there's been some reviews on it and stuff like that, and it's getting probably on Rotten Tomatoes, it's getting like 75%. So it's still considered certified fresh. I think that's probably on the high end. I think some of the choreography and stuff like that and cinematography is pretty good, but I feel like a lot of it's lost because there was no, I'm gonna make a man out of you.
There's no musicals numbers.
No, all the dancing seems to be, Mulan's spectacular, martial artistry.
Chi energy. How do you feel about her having magic?
I wasn't too thrown off by it because I guess it seamlessly transited.
Okay, David, just say you liked the movie. Fuck, just say you liked it.
6 out of 10.
Boo.
Actually, the only reason why I gave it that high is mostly because at the very, very end. Are you guys going to watch it?
No.
Okay. Her dad apologizes to her. That is the greatest thing any Chinese kids would ever want.
No, that's how
parent.
you know it's a work of fiction, because that shit would never happen.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Wait, that's the best part of it? In the original Mulan, fucking, what was it? All of China apologizes to her and thanks her.
Yep, they didn't do that.
And she eats porridge with bacon and eggs in it.
And smiling at her.
Smiley bacon and eggs face.
Yeah.
Actually, so essentially what they did is, spoiler alert for anybody who actually cares about this, but I don't think most people does. They replaced Mushu with a phoenix. So anytime that I wasn't a huge fan of this like plot device where it's like it signals like she's discovering herself and stuff like that. I was just like, okay. It kind of reminded me a little bit of like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, but less interesting.
but not as good.
It's not as good. Well, because here's the thing: is they had all these like they spoke English. In Mulan, everybody spoke perfect English. Here, they all have like this broken English accent. It's even written that way, and I'm like, it was like this blend where it wanted to be a kung fu movie, and so a lot of like. You could tell, like, how like kung fu movies were dubbed, right? There's like the Chinese and then there's like the English over it, and there's like wording that doesn't space out correctly.
Yeah.
They did that, but also in English while they were speaking English. I didn't know how that was possible, but that's how it came out. So
they spoke English, but somehow made it so that the words didn't match their mouth.
Correct. And I don't think it was ironic.
To backtrack a little bit, I've been watching a lot of this thing on YouTube from Screen Rant. No, I don't know if you know the channel Screen Rant.
Yeah.
But I've been watching a lot of the pitch meetings, and fuck, they're hilarious.
Yeah.
Where basically a guy gives like pitch meetings, like he plays the same, like the same guy plays two different, like he plays like the script writer and the studio executive.
Okay, I see what you're talking about.
And I watched the one on Mulan, and I was like, holy shit, if this is anything like what the actual movie is, then holy shit, what a shitty movie.
All right, so I'll watch that just to see if that's how it came out. But
watch that, let me know how accurate
I'll let you know next week how accurate that is, and I'll give a review of that. I'm pretty sure it'll be pretty accurate. But yeah, no, I think it tried to be something it's not. It lost a lot of its charm when you took away some of those other story elements and stuff like that. So
I would say it lost all of its charm.
No music.
Yeah.
There's no musical numbers. There's no quirky characters. Side characters. There's no Mushu.
That's
Yeah.
the side that's actually very sad because some of the other characters on the side that could have been there to kind of like drive the story, it was so focused on her that I was just like, what was the point of having the other scenes that are surrounding her and stuff like that? But all right, let's go ahead and dive on over to Street Sharks. Season 3, episode 20.
Oh, I feel like we're
one.
so close.
So close.
Yeah, there's 9 episodes left. And in this one, this is the transition that everybody's been dying for or asking about. Actually, nobody cares about that. Is the Raptors. The Raptors, because there's going to be a crossover with extreme dinosaurs. And there's this alien spaceship that they discovered. Dr. Paranoid, cracks in, and then Man-to-Man shows up, and because he was crossed with an alien from like what was like 15 or 20 episodes ago, he gets controlled by the Raptors, and they phone home, and then this is a setup for the spin-off series that was called, I believe, Extreme Dino. So we have 8 more episodes to go, and that'll pretty much do it for Street Sharks. For you guys, are you guys excited for the ending? Are you guys looking forward to it?
I can't wait for this to be over.
Yeah,
I can't wait. Even though
I can't believe you guys stuck with me for this long on this.
Even though I think I'm the one who pitched it, I can't wait for it to be over.
Yep.
Well, I don't think any of us were expecting for us to keep this gag going, but then
what if we get to the end and like, shit, we got to watch Extreme Dinosaurs because we got to wrap it up. We got to see where this goes.
All right, if you guys want to go ahead and do that, I will tell you guys ahead of time that
I don't want to commit to that. There's
52 episodes in that first season of Dino, and that's it.
We're not committing to this bit.
How do you have one season with 52 episodes in it?
Because they're like, you can't cancel the season if we're in the middle of the season, so we just extend the
Well, how many more episodes do you have? 46.
Yeah, so any thoughts on this one, you guys? I know that, Stu, you had to suspend a lot of disbelief yet again.
I'm excited to see where the Raptors go without Kawhi Leonard going forward.
They got bounced from the playoffs.
Yeah.
And
that was actually one of my favorite things I watched this weekend was the Clippers
giving up a 18-point lead in the third quarter to
for
then
the second time.
Yep. So,
anyways, back to Street Sharks. Not to talk too much about the Clippers being shitty. I couldn't remember. I don't remember, I guess, Man-to-Man's origin too well. I mean, I vaguely remember it. He's a dude on a space station or something, and something happens, and
he got gene slammed because there was that alien thing was roaming around, and then Dr. Paranoid was going to release this spaceship onto the planet, on Earth, and then so they fought that instead, and they stopped it, and then in the time of like trying to like destroy the spaceship, he gets fused with the other guy, and so that's how he ended up.
Okay, because I guess I was like, wait a minute, I thought you were just like I thought he just got gene slammed, so I'm like, why are you acting like you're an alien? But I guess I forgot about that. Because he got gene slammed
with an alien.
Yep, I guess that makes sense.
And then he started playing basketball because he touched the basketball with all the talent from all the NBA players.
Okay, I think we're getting our media mixed up here, but
he's not a monster. Okay. Any other thoughts on this one, guys?
We're almost there.
Yeah. I'm just from now on, the next 8 episodes is just a review of the episode is just going to be, we're almost done, please.
Are we there yet?
Kill me.
All right. So we'll go ahead and move over to the box office rundown. We actually have a top 10 this week. Coming at number 1 for the second week is Tenet with 6.7 million. The New Mutants at number 2 is holding strong with 2 million. Unhinged at number 3 with 1.5. New to the top 5 is the Broken Hearts category at 1.1. Bill and Ted Face the Music dropped from 4 to now 5 with 292,000. Words on Bathroom Walls climbs up 1 space from number 7 to number 6. SpongeBob moves down to number 7. The Personal History of David Copperfield's at 8, Peninsula at 9, which is the sequel to Train to Busan, and then number 10 is Cutthroat City. Anything from you guys on that? The top 10?
I just don't know when we're gonna get to participate in the top 10. I feel like we're on the sidelines.
There's several theaters in San Diego that are showing Tenet that are open. And then there's also in Paramount, I recently saw that there is a drive-in theater that is doing Tenet. They're doing 2 showings a night for Tenet. So that might be something I might be trying this weekend to go see it.
I think the Tiki Theater in Pomona might be showing stuff. Maybe I can try to. I don't know. It seems lame going to a drive-in movie by myself, though.
Oh wait, there's one in Montclair that's showing it. I know for a fact.
A drive-in?
Yeah, right. Montclair. I can't remember what it's called, but they've been showing it for the past 2 weeks, and I think that it was against WB's orders.
Oh,
So,
what?
Yeah, they've been showing it for a little bit. Yeah.
Ben, I wanted to ask you, since you happen to know a little bit more about like what's going on in actual Hollywood and stuff like that, is there a reason why a lot of theaters were banned from showing Black Panther over the last couple of weeks?
Black Panther. I actually don't know anything about that. I know that some theaters were trying to promote it. I didn't hear anything about any theaters getting banned to show it.
Yeah, so like there was a couple of theaters that wanted to in respect and in honoring like Chadwick Boseman's memory, they wanted to show Black Panther, and Disney shot it down and said nope, not happening. And so they had to pivot very quickly to show some of the other movies that it was in, like 42, where he portrays Jackie Robinson.
Huh. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that, but something like that where word comes down from Disney shooting it down like that, it doesn't surprise me. It does sound very Disney-like. They have like an iron grip over their properties, and they don't want anything happening with them.
Makes sense.
Is Disney like just fully controlled by China now or something? Like, why wouldn't they want it?
In China, didn't Black Panther do really, really well?
I don't know.
That doesn't sound like
a
thing.
I mean, I know that if you take a look at the Chinese posters for Black Panther, they do not feature Chadwick Boseman at all. It's always him masked, and it's really weird because if you take the posters that you see from China and compare it to the ones that we see here, they are it's pretty much the same poster. It's the same poster except he's always wearing his helmet. They'll never show his skin.
Or like Star Wars, they made Finn extra tiny.
Yeah, or they completely removed him, right?
Wait, he's on the poster? The poster I got doesn't have him in on it at all.
He's.
No, I'm just kidding. I didn't.
Is it just a blank poster? That's just Black Panther?
No, all it says is it's written in crayon. It says Star Wars, and then it says 1 out of 10. I'm like, what kind of poster is this?
Maybe it says it's in China. In the Chinese poster, it's Black Panther starring Tom Cruise
in blackface.
Yeah. Tasteful blackface, though.
Yeah, very tasteful.
Yeah.
Very accurate. All right. And your thoughts on box office this week, guys?
I just want to go see movies again at some point.
So, Stu, are you going to try and see Tenet over the weekend? What about
I don't know.
Oh?
I'm going to wait until at least a drive-in near me is showing it. Otherwise, I don't really want to venture out just to go watch it.
But there's some guys who drove 4 hours to San Diego to go see it.
Wow. Their lives must be really, really great.
Fulfilling.
Fulfilling.
That's right. They don't have a group to watch movies with on Fridays like Tampopo.
Tampopo. Also, I might be going to prison because I watched that movie, I feel.
Why?
There's just a scene where that was... that.
Did it put you on a list?
I think so. I'm pretty sure all 3 of us are on a list now.
Wait, but I didn't watch it.
No, I mean, me.
You're on the list by association and also from Wicked City.
Yeah, I think I'm on the list for other reasons, but not that one. You can't put that one on me.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll see each other on the list eventually.
So, all right. That'll pretty much do it for the box office rundown. I believe the movie for this week was picked by Ben. So, Ben, can you give us a synopsis of Clerks?
A comedy that defined one of the largest Hollywood personas of all time, Kevin Smith presents Clerks, a movie about the everyday life of one convenience store employee, Dante Hicks, and his rebellious foil and friend, Randall Graves. Go fuck yourself, David, as he tries to make it through one day that he wasn't supposed to work.
And Dan?
I feel like you said something in there that one of those things was not like the other.
What do you mean? I don't get it. It's a synopsis of the movie Clerks, a comedy that defined one of the largest Hollywood personas of all time, Kevin Smith.
Go fuck yourself, David.
Oh man. All right. So Ben, for out of all of the movies in the comedy category, what made you decide to pick this one?
Well, it's not only just a comedy. It was a movie that embodied a lot more. It was a movie that had a comedic style that was like really much in contrast with what I usually enjoy in comedies. I love seeing like visual gags, like anything in Edgar Wright's movies where, there's some sort of the joke isn't by a character talking, it's by something that's happening on screen. It kind of like Jackie Chan, how he does something like even though it's like it's action comedy. He does something that is really funny. He punches himself and like he gets hurt, stuff like that. The jokes that work with the shot and the environment. But this movie is just like nonstop talking. All the movie is carried by is witty dialogue and the chemistry between the two lead characters. There's like so many long takes and shots that have the characters spouting out word after word, monologuing for forever. But the banner really reflects on their character while also serving up like a lot of great jokes per second. And not only is the movie good on screen, but it also has a great backstory to it as well. Like I kind of mentioned how this was the comedy that defined one of the largest people in Hollywood right now, Kevin Smith. And it really is. It was the first major film by Kevin Smith, who is like everywhere nowadays. He directs TV. He has his own podcast. He directs movies. He has his own comic book store. He has his own strain of weed. He is a man that genuinely loves nerdy pop culture stuff and has existed just to heighten it. Like, this was a movie of his own humble beginnings. It was making a movie that he made on a budget of $28,000. Money from his own pocket, money that he gained from maxing out 8 different credit cards, money that he made from selling his own comic book collection. He filmed it at night at the place of his own employment at the time, the convenience store. And he shot it for almost 21 days consecutively, and only at night because he couldn't shoot during business hours. And he presented this film at the Sundance Film Festival, where Harvey Weinstein, executive of Miramax at the time,
and executive producer of Air Bud, continue.
Yes, who bought
Holy
the film.
shit, is that true?
Yes.
Did we cover that already? Oh, I forgot.
We did. But continue, Ben.
Air Bud, show us on the doll where Harvey Weinstein touched you.
Dude, I made that joke like literally as we were talking about it, and you're like, it feels bad.
It's not funny when you do it, David.
Yeah, it's the delivery, David.
It's DiGiorno.
See, David, that's exactly why.
Continue, Ben. Miramax, Weinstein.
It's pretty much a movie that it's like a Cinderella story. It was like this guy who had like 4 months of film school, and he dropped out early, by the way. Because he felt like, oh yeah, I can make this movie. And he just did it. Yeah, I got it. I totally got it, guys. And he just asked all his friends. He didn't even hire anyone, really. He pretty much got all his friends to come help him make this movie so he can save a few bucks. And now he is like the Hollywood guy. He is Kevin Smith. It's a film that's not only enjoyable on screen, but also off screen. 10 out of 10.
So this is the ultimate story of betting on yourself and your vision and really going after it.
Yeah, and holy fuck, there was a lot of great fucking jokes in this movie. Jeez.
Yeah, I think Randall tells it as it is a huge, like, almost like they didn't have to pull any punches. Like they literally were just like, nope, we're just going to tell it as it is, and it's going to be raw. It's going to be, but they could have filmed it in color. How come they didn't film it in color? Did they ever explain that, Ben?
Yeah, that was actually to save on money.
Oh. Sounds good to me. I like it.
I guess I like the little detail. I guess that makes sense now as to why during the entire movie that explains why the shutters were closed.
Yeah, that was it.
They have to be shooting the movie during the scene is supposed to be happening during the day, but he can only shoot at night. So I like that little factoid.
Yep.
Some asshole's been we've been sticking gum in that asshole's lock for 30 years.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, that was great. That was fucking great.
So it kind of like harkens back to when we went to go see Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Yep.
Right, where there's like a lot of like gags, and there's a lot of like, it's crossed so many different lifespans that people have been able to see this movie that you know, they you know, everybody can kind of like enjoy pieces of it no matter what, at what point did you jump into the genre. What about you, Stu? Thoughts on this one?
Okay. Well, Ben's gonna hate me for this.
I already do. Go ahead.
Well, okay, so then I have nothing to worry about.
Okay, cool.
So I've only seen Clerks like maybe one other time, and it was probably only in pieces. Like I never saw the full thing. So I was watching it, and you know, I've seen like most of his other stuff, Kevin Smith's other stuff, like Mallrats, obviously Jay and Silent Bob, Clerks 2 I saw. So going into this one, I felt like one of the other movies we watched, or I think David tried to suggest, where it's like it had its comedy moments in it, but I didn't feel like it was a comedy. I felt like it was like deeper than that. Like, I mean, obviously it has like some really kind of raunchy stuff like peppered into it, which, you know, that's always funny. But I felt like there was more going on to it, where I didn't feel like I was watching a comedy. Like Ben said, it's very dialogue heavy. There's a lot of there's a lot of witty banter back and forth. A lot of chemistry between like the two, Dante and Randall. So having said that, because I didn't feel like it was a comedy, I feel like that's affecting my rating. Because I feel like this is more of I don't know what genre of film I would slot this into, but because honestly, like, I think there's only about 3 or 4 times that I like chuckled. Like, nothing really gave me like a guttural laugh. Yeah, there was one that gave me like a pretty good laugh, but for the most part, I felt like I was watching like a very like, I don't want to say like visceral, dramatic, yeah, not a dramatic film, but like but I just felt like it was, I don't know, it was like it
was almost like a documentary,
kinda. But yeah, so because I didn't feel like it was if I'm rating this based on it being a comedy, I'd probably give it like a 6. But as a film on the whole, I'd probably give it like a 9.
Okay, that's fair.
69.
Nice. I see what you did there. That's a very Randall thing to say. I feel like for me, it's kind of like in the same veins, because I actually hadn't really seen the entire thing all at once. Probably seen like the first half, and then I'll like later on down the road I would have watched like the second half at some point. And I was kind of like Stu, where I didn't really laugh a lot. I feel like a lot of it was kind of like that situational kind of like, it's very morbid, like his outlook, right? It's just kind of like, oh, I'm just kind of stuck here and really can't do anything about it. And I think in terms of the real portrayal of it, I used to work at a bowling alley, and so it was kind of like a dead end job, kind of like there was not really much that was there.
Wait, were you Randall or were you
no, I was Dante.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was the fuck boy.
But yeah, there were some of those exchanges that's kind of like those meaning, like sitting around, you're supposed to look busy kind of moments, and then you're just kind of just like running through these like dumb scenarios in your mind. And I even at one point, we waited till after hours, and we like we clocked out, but then we stayed for another hour or so just to like bowl and stuff like that. Just kind of like what they did for hockey, except for they closed down the shop in the middle of the day. But for me, just doing that job that pretty much you work for 7 hours or 8 hours or 9 hours, for him it was like the entire day, and then there's no goal, there's nothing. It kind of reminded me a lot of that, and that kind of brought up some memories that made me laugh about some of the stupid stuff that we did right out of college and stuff like that, and wondering like, what did I do with my life, right? And he's like kind of going through that as well, and then questioning some of the choices he made. So in terms of like, it feels like to me almost like a documentary where it was very like accurate, the plight of a minimum wage worker. So for me, 9 out of 10. But in terms of like comedy, I don't know if I really like laughed as much as I did when we saw The Naked Gun, or some of the stuff that we saw when we saw Mystery Science Theater, the movie. So I definitely wouldn't have like categorized this right up as comedy if you're looking for like the ha-ha kind of laughter, but it's just kind of like comedy because it's so accurate, kind of like what life is for the guys who work at convenience stores, the guys who work at like at the drive-through and or video store. I think it'd be funny if they did a modern adaptation of this. I wonder what they would do with the video store, because there's none of those exist anymore. So
Well, they did. It's Clerks too.
Yeah, there's going to be Clerks 3. So
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
yeah.
so I guess what we can do is we can have Ben. What is the one of the bigger moments that sticks out for you about this about Clerks?
I think it was just really any scene that had Randall and Dante kind of going at it. It was a really, really long take, and it wasn't just them spouting out nonsense. It was them spouting out these ridiculously long monologues, and I want to say there were a lot of complicated words in there. They also had to, kind of go with it in this persona, this character of this this dead end job worker, who doesn't really give a shit about his job, and kind of going along with it. I think it was just incredible seeing that and them being able to riff off of each other and produce some jokes from it. I really enjoyed that. Like, what was it? Their whole spiel on the Death Star. That one was a really long take.
Oh, that was so good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. And then
I feel like in order for them to pull that off and across so many different scenes, I feel like a lot of that would probably have to be mostly improvised. Like they know the topic, they know that they want to discuss. Like I feel like it'd be really hard to have that all written out and try to all scripted and deliver the entire scene as if they're having a natural conversation.
Well, yeah, because it makes it much less organic than it was. Or if they did have everything written out, they did an absolute great job in doing that. But I think it like lines up with the fact that all of them are friends, right? So I'm sure they probably was like, oh man, remember that one time we got really high or really drunk or whatever, and we had that conversation? Like, dude, this kind of reminds me of that. And then they just kind of let that happen. That's the way it feels like to me.
Yeah. I will say that one scene where they're talking about the Death Star, the original cut of this movie actually had like an extra few seconds attached to the end that definitely turned this movie from like a borderline comedy into definitely I would say a drama or something, more of a documentary, in which after they close up, it closes on Dante locking up the shop, and a random guy goes into the store and kills Dante. So
what the fuck?
Yeah,
what?
He robs the store, kills him, and takes a cigarette pack. So the whole idea of bringing, because like the rest of the film, I felt kind of was consistent. All these jokes kind of had some callback or had some sort of future payoff, except the Star Wars joke. So the Star Wars joke was that Dante really liked Empire Strikes Back because it ends on a really dark note, and that it was really relatable to life. That life was just a whole bunch of downers, and the whole time, or the whole movie, was supposed to culminate in Dante getting killed because that's what life was. It was a whole bunch of ups and downs, and ultimately ending on a downer that he wasn't supposed to be there that day, and that was the day a random guy decides to just rob the store and kill him. That's what it was supposed to be.
Well, that definitely would have turned it to a 10 for Stu in terms of drama, but then comedy would have turned it down to a 2.
Yeah, not even. Like, this movie wasn't even funny. Like,
what are you guys talking about?
In fact, for me, even without knowing that, there were a lot of scenes in this movie that were like actually
Dark,
kind of depressing. Like, seeing like, I guess back then, it was like 1994 or whenever they shot it. It's just like that, man. This is what life used to be like, where if you don't have like anything going on in your life, then you're basically like Jay and Silent Bob, or you're Dante and Randall. You're Jay and Silent Bob. You're standing outside a convenience store all day, fucking doing nothing, selling drugs.
Yeah.
Or you're Dante and Randall stuck in like a dead end job and that you don't care about. It's like Jesus. And then like after that, and then like to get a glimpse into like what Randall's gonna do after that, he's gonna he rents a movie and to go home and watch it. Like, fuck, that's so depressing to me. Like,
yeah, but you work in a video store. I work in a shitty video store.
But I think it's interesting because Randall kind of takes whatever's happening and he kind of turns it around a little bit. He's just kind of like, but I'm okay with it. Right. He's like, I know what I put myself into. I could work harder, but I really don't care. So there's like this like juxtaposition of their two attitudes, right? Where Randall really doesn't care, Dante wants to not care, but then he also showed up the day that he wasn't supposed to be working, right? He could have just said, nope, not going to work, period. Don't care. I have hockey, right?
Yeah, I think Randall put it pretty good at one point where he was telling Dante that like he thinks he's like his job is so important that like the world would end if he wasn't there or something like that. And it was like a good illustration of like
And your boss is all the way in Vermont.
yeah, how much like Dante acted like he didn't care, but he actually like seemed to really care. So
yeah. So Stu, Ben shared his favorite moment. What about you?
I think my favorite moment, I guess as far as the part I think the one part that made me like kind of like laugh, LOL, was the part where he's getting a heated argument with his girlfriend about how many guys she's been with, and like 37, and then like she's like leaving, and a customer walks up to Dante, and he's like, I can't believe my girlfriend sucked 37 dicks, and the guy's like, in a row. Just like just random like throwaway. Just we need to bring this one character in just to stay in a row. Like, man, that one made me laugh. But yeah, I think that was probably like my favorite part of the movie because the rest of it was, like I said, it was very. There was some like raunchy stuff like Randall renting transvestite porn, and I was like, haha, that's silly, or him knocking over the casket at a wake, and that kind of stuff.
A lot of jokes were like front loaded.
Yeah.
Towards the beginning, and then they started getting darker and darker as the movie went on.
Yeah. I think that was probably my favorite moment. The rest of it was like, it was very like, it was like I said, it was like some parts were like depressing, where it's like, I don't like this. I don't like seeing this. Although I think there was something I saw that was kind of off to me. When Jay was talking, like his lines, it didn't seem like he knew his lines very well, and they didn't bother doing any extra takes.
Oh, so from what I read and understood, Jason Mewes at the time was definitely had a really bad drug addiction, and so during shooting they just kind of rolled with it because they didn't want to deal with
it. Okay, well I guess that makes sense.
But now he's clean, so
yeah,
it all worked out.
Now he's able to deliver all of his goofy ass lines with no problem.
Yep.
First take, Jason.
Yep. Well, you, David.
For me, my favorite moment was the beginning scene where the guy is like berating everybody for buying cigarettes, and then his girlfriend comes in and just fire extinguishes everybody to get them to stop rioting in the store. And because Dante's like, hey, whatever, you can drink your coffee here, right? And he's like causing a riot in the store, rattling everybody up. And she goes, who are you with? And he goes, and then he hands him it's like, the chewing gum. You did that to sell more chewing gum. I think that was the first time I laughed, and I was like, okay, maybe there's some chance. And then it got dark after that. So but yeah, I think there was a lot of, I think what Ben was talking about, right? There's a setup, and then there's a payoff, and then there's some that don't really have much of a payoff. But all right, any other thoughts, guys, before we wrap this one up?
Go fuck yourself, David.
Wait, why?
I don't know. That's what my script says. I'm just reading what it says.
Okay. All right. So that'll do it for comedy. Since I believe I'm up this time, I would like to pick foreign films for That's What I Call 5incos.
Wait, you can only choose one film, David.
Yeah, you can't pick four films.
Yeah, I'm only picking one. It's called Cook Up a Storm. It's from 2017. It's a movie about two dueling chefs. I think you guys will enjoy it. Think kung fu movie, but with cooking. So, you guys will be reviewing Cook Up a Storm next week on episode 57. What?
I don't even know of any foreign films. This is going to take me a while to come up with my pick.
Well, that's why you have an entire week to figure it out, Stu.
2 weeks. I think Ben picks next, right?
And by the way, anime doesn't count.
Yeah.
Fuck! Wait, no, I'm okay.
Also, by the way, The Professional is considered a foreign film.
Is it?
I think so. Isn't it in French?
No.
He's French.
He's French. You idiot.
I'm choosing this one because it was formed in Florida.
It was shot across the border in Mexico.
City of God. Hell no, I'm not watching that stinker.
Sicario.
All right, you guys can think about it, but I'm just going to wrap this one up. So thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode of the Dos Nas Cinco podcast. You can always find us on Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, Google Podcasts, as well as Apple Podcasts. And then don't forget to tune in on Twitch. We stream every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and the occasional Saturday and Sunday.
When David feels like it.
As always, I am your host, David.
I'm Stuart.
And I'm Ben.
Don't forget to tip your Reiki masters, wash your hands, be safe, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Okay, bye.
Bye.